Hello YouTubers, I'm out here in Bayonne, New Jersey, at the DMV. The service out here is very good actually. It's not crowded like in Harlem. You know, they move rather quickly. They have everything set up really nice there. When you get in there, you're greeted by a receptionist that can answer all your questions, and you don't see a great deal of homeless people out here. I guess it's because it's in the middle of nowhere, but and it's clean. There are no trash all over the place. Lots of vehicles, of course. I'll use the phone and pan a little bit. See, lots of vehicles. Of course, you always have the McDonald's and all these fast food establishments all over the place. Bayonne, from what I can see, a lot of blacks live over here, and Indians, Spanish people. That's where you usually have these fast food places, and of course the McDonald's, all the stuff that's bad for you, that can kill you. I guess I should say allegedly. I don't need no dusty person coming on my channel about, oh, you accused so and so of taking people out. There's always one person like that because they have nothing else to do. Now, of course, I'm wearing my mask. I'm in the street. Now, I did take my vaccinations, both of them. However, I still wear my mask because you never know. You know, nothing is for certain. You know, but you know, you have to be mindful of everything in this world today. We live in a very different world from 50, 60 years ago. In any case, I was thinking to myself, and also talking to Allah. My mask is a little too big, excuse me. It keeps rolling down below my nose. In any case, I was thinking to myself how this COVID-19 pandemic has really brought out the worst in most people, and the ones that were already horrid, they're triple or quadruple horrid now. And all these groups, such as Asians, which include the Indians, the Japanese, the Chinese, the Pacific Islanders, etc. All these groups that once used to be touted as being together and looking out for each other, this COVID-19 pandemic has also shined a light on those groups that is not true anymore. A lot of these groups that I've stated previously now find themselves homeless and being discharged from school, losing jobs, all types of stuff. And I find that the reason why I'm broaching that situation is because for years I always heard you know, certain people state that Indians from India and the Pacific Islanders and the Asians, Japanese, etc., same thing, Chinese are so close and close-knit. Well, you know what? That's not true. That's not true. COVID-19 pandemic has revealed the truth about every single situation today, you know, and situations where it concerns people as well. And it cannot be ignored. It's interesting how the bad times, tough times, really, really tough times, everything comes to light. Everything. Everything comes to light. Because the the um the carpet is picked up. Nothing can be no longer hidden under the carpet any longer. It just can't be done. And this is what I don't know if this is what I noticed. I don't know if anyone else has. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. I don't know. But one thing I am certain of, the reality out here is that these are desperate times, and they're not going to be altered anytime soon. Of course, I don't believe there'll ever be another lockdown again. Um, this country cannot afford it. You know, the country's barely getting back up on its feet after the lockdown. And there is a situation where you have establishments that's trying to rip people off for every penny they can. And prices have risen drastically on everything. Now, there's this place called the Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, or Dollar whatever, and now they have risen their prices. Some things are $1, but most of the items in there is at least $3 and up now. So at this point, it doesn't matter whether you go to the dollar store any longer or Dwayne Reed and all these other places, because you're going to be paying the same amount of money for items. So these, that's one of the other instances of how desperate things have become financially. You see more women also that are homeless, more than any time. I may not be phrasing that correctly, but you see a lot of women that are homeless, teenagers, just young people in general. And it's really bad out here. It's really bad. And it's going to get worse. And now the winter is coming. So, it's just, I feel for anyone that's experiencing the things that I stated, because I've been homeless with my own children. We were homeless for 10 years. Back then, though, believe it or not, being homeless was not as tenuous as it is now. Now there's nowhere to go. Back then you had an intake place where you could spend the night for about 7 to 10 days, and they were able to find you a place, what they called tier 2s, which were usually apartments that were furnished. You didn't have to pay rent, and then one remained at the tier 2 for about 6 months to a year or more, depending on their circumstances. And then one applied for Section 8, or what is it, public housing. and then you could get out. Of course, you could get out quicker with public housing, because Section 8, you really have to let your legs do the walking. You have to walk around all over the place looking for an apartment building that takes Section 8, some landlord that will take Section 8. The public housing is different. Some apartments become available maybe within a few weeks to a month, and you're out of those tier 2s. I don't know if they still have that set up today, or if they do, if people have to pay rent today. But that's how it was back then. You didn't have to pay rent, and the furniture was wooden, and they had pillows on the furniture, and so were the bed. It was usually a twin bed, or twin beds rather, because it was usually families that found themselves to be in those positions. And you had the plastic mattress. It was set up almost like an army barracks, but it was an apartment, and the furniture was doable, but it's not something you would like to live on forever. It's like eating certain snakes. There's certain snakes you can kill and you can eat them. You can cook them and eat them. I know that because when I was very young, I had acquaintances and a few friends here and there. We would go hunting, so we would do things like that. In any case, I digressed. Now I see where the homeless population has nowhere to go. They have nowhere to go because maybe they don't know the ins and outs of the system of how to find information, utilize their rights, or there are a lot of violence now in the shelters. So there was always violence in the shelters, by the way, but maybe now it's even worse. And so people, I suppose, because of the warm weather, have taken to also living in the streets because they feel safer in the streets. They can flop on church steps, front of buildings, stores, etc., etc. But it's really heartbreakingly sad that human beings today, in the times we're living in, whether it's 20 years ago or in 2021, are in the street homeless. Because no one should have to live like that. No one. In any case, I have to get ready to leave. And everyone have a nice day. Like and subscribe. Bye-bye.